Hello and welcome back to episode 15 of Learn Minecraft. My name is SpiderZ and today we're going to have a little bit of a weird different episode. I actually already recorded this and then I accidentally deleted it. But yeah, anyways, this is going to be a short episode because I have two finals today, so I'm trying to hurry up and get this episode out. When I had originally recorded this, we had tried to make a snowball generator by having this guy trapped in there and then having him generate snow beneath him, and then we could use a shovel to speed mine it and get infinite snowballs. Unfortunately, I forgot that I think it was actually changed a long time ago, but they changed it so that this guy will only generate snow beneath him if he's in a cold biome, meaning that this does not work anymore. So we'll have to find some way to deal with him. A little bit about snowmen though. Basically, you can make them using 2 snow blocks and a carved pumpkin. The snow blocks you can get by going to a cold biome using a shovel on the snow layers when it snows there. You get snowballs. You put 4 snowballs like so, and then it will give you a snow block. However, when you stack 2 of those snow blocks on top of each other and then a carved pumpkin on top, which you can carve a pumpkin using shears, it will give you a snow golem. Snow golems are kind of useful. They throw snowballs at mobs. It does not do any damage unless that mob is a blaze, I don't believe. However, why this is useful is that A, can distract mobs and keep them away from you if you just need them distracted. B, it can also aggro mobs, meaning that regardless of how you kill them after that, if they are aggroed, you will get experience for them dying. So that is kind of useful, and as I said, they used to make snow layers underneath them regardless of what biome they're in. Now they have to be in a cold biome, but now if they walk around in a cold biome, they lay down snow underneath them as they walk. And yeah, if you take these guys into the nether, they will start melting. I can't quite remember if they changed this, that they also do that in deserts. I don't remember. However, we will have to find something to do with this guy. Now, moving on to what we're actually going to do in this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of one of my old Minecraft worlds. And this one is a little bit more unique. I used to be super into command blocks, and I used to code games within Minecraft, and this was the start of what was supposed to be quite an epic command block coded game. So as you can see, I built my computer screen within Minecraft. You would actually be up here inside of this, like so, and you would be standing on this red block, and then you could change your FOV or whatever, and then you could see just the computer screen. And then you would actually control it just by walking around like that, or by jumping to click on things. And it used to be that you had a command code that would, quote, test for block, and then you could specify where in relation to the player or an entity. So using that, we used a figure setup like this so that it would test for andesite beneath you, and if it found andesite, it would move you back to this orange block here, which is just the default starting block, and then each of these different colored blocks would move you in a different direction across the screen. So using that mechanic, we were able to create a full game. This is a nursing game that I created when I first started nursing school. And you could move around your little nurse. When you started the game, at the menu screen, you could select to either have a male or female nurse. And then down here is the coding for that. This is where we had each of our movable sections there. And anyways, here is all of the coding for it. We actually had 2 separate screens running at once, and even a few minutes ago there was a slime here. And they were completely controlled by slimes, the smallest slime. And basically, as you moved around up there, it would move the slime around here. And based on where the slime was and which direction the slime was facing, it would actually move your character around and decide which direction your character was facing. And then I had like a little walking animation too. And these basically I had it testing in all 4 directions around the slime whether there was air around it, and if there was, then you could walk in that direction. If it was black, then you could not walk in that direction. That was saying that there was like a solid block there. So as you can see, these like black corners here was saying that those were the corners of the screen, so you couldn't walk off, and the screen is exactly proportional to that one. This is a, I think it's a 16, no, what is it? No, it's an 8-bit, yeah, it's an 8-bit screen. So that screen is exactly 8 times larger than this one here. And then each of these different types of blocks here were different functional blocks that you could actually interact with by clicking on them or walking near them, which is pretty neat. And then here, this was the menu screen, which is always loaded up, but it would also change as well concurrently with that screen. So you had different buttons that you could click on around here. And yeah, the command block code for it was actually pretty simple. It wasn't that bad. I've got some signs here to remind me what stuff does. So this row cleared the screen. This one loaded the hospital screen. This one loads the home. This one loads the minimap, changes control pad. So not terribly complicated. Most of these are like really simple. It was just changing like single blocks, and then we would use structure blocks to load things up for us. So, and then these screens was probably the most complicated part, just because we had to detect a bunch of different things behind them. But each screen was identical as far as how it detected things, and then where all of the magic happened was in these coding things here. So this was our code. So yeah, home button, hospital load, hospital start new game. Here was our directional moving coding. It's actually really easy to do the jump and the diagonal, but then the left, down, up, and right was a little bit more complicated since we were changing our sprite based on what direction we were facing. And then it changed as we ran. And here was how you selected the character. Character up, character right, character down. I think one of these lines controlled the slime and the other one controlled our character up there. And then over here, yeah, I'm not sure, it's been a while since I've done this. It broke like 4 or 5 updates ago. So since then I haven't been working on it a whole lot. But yeah, this is like some pretty simple and basic coding. Like, it seems a little bit complicated, but honestly, like, it's a lot simpler than what was actually going. Yeah. But a little bit behind the screen, there is some neat stuff going on back there. So it's pretty cool here. Kind of proud of that. But the reason why I stopped production on this looks a little bit wild back here, but this is the actual part of the memory for the game. Some of the memory was over there based on changing some blocks above, command blocks and stuff like that, that had a little bit of memory. But as far as all of the visual memory, it was all stored back here using the structure blocks, and then the blue are just placeholder blocks, so they don't actually do anything. But we would, whenever we wanted to load up a new screen, this is like, what is this, 10 screens worth of images up here. So I think this row here is the home screen that we were loading up. This one is, oops, this one is like, cancel. Yeesh, go back. Anyways, so it wouldn't have really mattered. But so this one was like the home screen. This one was like, because you could select different games in the home screen. It wasn't just this hospital game. This one was like the hospital loading screen. This one was, you know, whatever, something else. It had a bunch of different screens that it would load up. And then the actual characters weren't part of that screen. As you can see, it's on a different layer, so they were loaded up individually by the command blocks over there. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. The issue with this and why I stopped is that structure blocks actually can only load, or at least they used to. They might have changed it, I don't know, but they used to only be able to load blocks up to 32 blocks away, and I didn't know that when I started building this, which meant that the farthest away that I could build this was 10 screens worth. And if I wanted to go farther than this, I could have done it. It wouldn't have been terribly hard. It would have just been a lot of work. I figured out how to do it, but I would need to have individual command blocks for each and every single one of these structure blocks, and it would have to be like a long command block chain that would individually load every single one of these structure blocks every single time that I changed a screen. I think I tried it out at one point and it worked. It was just pretty slow. So like this was basically instantaneous, there we go, to change screens. So it was like half a second or something, like super duper fast for a game within Minecraft. But if I did the other way to fix it, it was like 4 or 5 seconds per screen change, which I mean, that's fine for like the loading screen to like the game screen or something like that, or loading from the game screen to like the start screen here. But it was just kind of obnoxious if you spent like longer than that every time you walk through a door or something. It just wasn't realistic. So I could go back and try to fix that someday, but in general, all the code for this doesn't work anymore since you can't test for blocks in relation to the player or entities, at least not that I know of. But yeah, it was a cool little project. I spent a couple of weeks on it, and I think overall it was like 500 lines of code or something like that. It was quite a bit, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, so I forget what this did, but this also loaded. This beacon here had some sort of memory to it. This glass block would change positions based on different things. But that's just like if you're interested in getting into like slime block coding, some like basic, really basic ways to do that without like actually messing with different game codes and stuff like that. It's just to use actual physical blocks as memory, and you can have each. Well, you used to be able to, because you could test for a block. But yeah, so I would use like all of those stone blocks are different pieces of memory, and if they were a different type of block, then they would be storing a different type of memory. So, little bit of an interesting background into my Minecraft. This is not the only programming world I have, but I can show you the other ones later if you guys are interested in this. I do have a fair amount of background in at least old command block codes. At one point I made a Pac-Man chicken game, which is pretty fun. Used to run around using it was on one of these small screens, but you would move a chicken around through a Pac-Man course, and I think one of the maps I programmed so that every like few seconds it would change the maze that you were going through. And I don't think at the time I figured out how to code AI. I think I could now pretty easily, but at the time instead it was just you were racing against the clock, so you'd have like a timed race to see how fast you could get through everything and collect all of the different objectives. But yeah, anyways, that's going to do it for today. I hope you liked this kind of different episode of Learn Minecraft. If you're interested in seeing some other command block stuff or seeing some of my large creative builds, let me know and I might go ahead and do that. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys are having a good finals week, and I will catch you in episode 16.